Hi, I'm Katie Hunt and I'm the creative producer for the University of Bolton Showcase 2020.
Hiya, my name's Chris and I'm the director for the New Writing Showcase.
Hello, I'm Morgan King and welcome to the New Writing Showcase 2020.
It's a student-led event that takes place each year at the University of Bolton, and we advertise for writers, so that could be students within the university. Sometimes they get people outside of the university.
When we put a call out for pieces, it's not solely limited to English students, it's for anyone in the university that's get involved.
If it was a live event in the Bolton Library Museum, that would have been taking place on Thursday the 30th. So we want to stick with that time that we'd originally set.
Yes, we had to take a different approach due to the pandemic. We had to set up Zoom accounts, and this allowed us to speak to each other via video chat.
Overall tonight you'll see 19 pieces, which include 5 plays, a monologue, 4 pieces of fiction, 9 poems.
The more we worked on it and the more we learned about it, the more I came to fully invest and appreciate the quality of the work.
We hope that you enjoy the show just as much as we've enjoyed putting it together for you.
At 8 o'clock, we're going to take a bit of a break so we can go outside and give a big round of applause to our fantastic doctors and nurses at the NHS and amazing key workers which are helping to keep our country running and keep us safe during those difficult times. After that 5 minutes, feel free to come back and join us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
My name's John O'Neill, and this is Familiar Stranger by Robbie Barlow. Rising from the piss-stench platform, I meet the columns of crumbling green paint and the high street of rust-coloured mortar and bricks. Pubs line the boundaries of the cobbled street, and the one we're most familiar with hasn't changed a bit. Neither have the betting shops or the taxi ranks, or the emerald green bottles that were always littering the street. If the patrons of the Swan remember me, then I revert back to public enemy number 1, 2, and 3. Our origin remains the same, but I can assure you that I am different. I am the Ubermensch, a god above the ant colonies. I'm a fly on the wall refusing to bathe in the shit. I'm a familiar stranger on the run trying to figure out, make sense of something that is no longer tangible, or something that escaped from our interlocked fingers. Though we both discovered it at different times. And I know it does my mind no good to sit and ponder. I still find myself returning to my archive of love, like stepping into footprints left in the snow in an attempt to avoid the ice. And you may not recognize me, but that could be a choice. You push a pram, hand in hand. Your surname, a foreign substance to my tongue. And my insides are hollowed out like piss holes in the snow. It was just the description, the piss stench, just the words. It was the words, it was the writing. As soon as I read the piss stench platform, crumbling green paint, patrons of this, like the public enemy number 1, 2, 3, it just had a real northern, gritty kind of feel, and I liked it.
At the start of Holly Willoughby is Dead, there's a monologue by a character called Kelly. It's kind of a strange play, really, but she's a bit shell-shocked. She's lost her son. I remember seeing pictures of it, old pictures, film footage, but it didn't look like that, though. It was different. It was grey in colour. We were out shopping. I was at the checkout. I'd forgotten to pick up the milk, so I sent him to go back and get some. Then there was this panic, chaos. People started taking food off the shelves, helping themselves. Who wouldn't? I just ran to the milk aisle where he was, and he was stood there. I saw him. He was there. I said to him, look, you've got to run now. You've got to hold my hand and run as fast as you can. And he just looked scared because he didn't know what was happening. So I said to him, remember Sports Day? Remember Sports Day when you won that race? And he said, yes, Mum. Well, you've got to run like that, just like that, only faster. The fastest you've ever run, ever. Even if you can't run anymore, you've got to run. Then there was this sound. It had a speed to it, like a train or an aeroplane, as if you were sat right next to a plane taking off. But it came from underground, underneath our feet. It grew. It moved like a living thing. It shook everything. The floor, my whole body shook. It shook the building. I had hold of his hand. I had hold of it. I know I did. I felt it. His thumb was there. His fingers were pressed hard against here. He was there. I didn't let go. I wouldn't have done that. I would never have done that, not never. So how did he just disappear? Where did my boy go?
There's less than 15 minutes on the clock, and it's all about Rashford. He gains possession way down on the right-hand side. Little bit of space there. Oh, he's unstoppable now. Easily makes it past the defence. Coming up on the far side. Can he make a finish? Yes! He's done it! He's done it! What a goal! Magnificent football! Manchester United have pulled it back. Score is 2-2, and Old Trafford is alight. Now, there's less than 2 minutes left. Rashford gets possession again. Is there no end to this player's skill? Can he pass it? Can he pass the defence and flick it across? No! No, he's going solo. This man is on the touchline and he finishes again. Oh, what a sizzling striker. No goalkeeper could keep that goal out.
What the actual fuck are you doing with my Furby?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you utter twat waffle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, love.
I told you not to touch my fucking thing.
I know,
I told you to keep your dirty mitts out of my bag.
I know you did, lol.
So why did you do it?
Right?
Why do you keep touching my fucking things?
Because you got loads of stuff, lol.
So?
I ain't got anything.
So it's my fault you never bothered to pack anything.
Well, I didn't know.
You did know. I told you weeks ago to pack stuff.
But you know about that stuff, lol. You know about it because of the army. I don't know how. I don't know how to pack stuff.
Yes, you do. Anyone can pack a bag.
No, I don't. I don't. Mum was going to show me. But then, well, she didn't. She forgot. Or she was watching the telly or something.
Don't blame Mum.
Sorry.
Fuck this. There is no hope.
What?
Hope. There is none.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. This place. Shithole.
Yeah, well, it could be worse. But we've had worse.
Yeah. Not like this, though.
I don't know. We've got the telly.
Oh, fuck off, Curtis.
Come on. What should we watch?
Don't start that shit again.
Hey, look, Lol, look, it's your favourite.
Oh, just shut the fuck up.
No, look, Lol, look.
No,
Oh, please, just look. It's
Curtis, will you just do one?
honestly, just turn around and look.
Oh, just stop this fucking shit.
What are we going to watch now? Do you think Rashford died in the blast?
I don't know.
What about Holly Willoughby?
I don't know.
Hope not. And what about
I don't know.
maybe everyone's died. Lol, when can we go out?
Not yet.
When though?
10 more days should do it. Maybe 11. Eat.
10 more days. I'm getting a KFC when I get out. Oh, 8-piece bucket, coleslaw, gravy, or maybe baked beans. Not like these. And with fries, loads of fries. They never give you enough fries.
There is no KFC.
You don't know that.
I do.
You don't.
How did you get in here?
Through
Yes?
the door.
What door?
There's a door.
Where?
That way. A staircase leads down here.
How did you get in through the door?
It was open.
It was locked.
No, it was open. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Didn't know anybody was in here. I just wanted to come down to get away from up there. I don't mean any harm. I just wanted to find somewhere to go.
What's it like
What?
up there?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, I do.
It's crazy.
Is anyone else up there?
A few groups of people.
What are they doing?
Nothing. They just walk around.
What's there?
Nothing. There's nothing there. It's just dark most of the time.
There must be something. Go on.
Some buildings. There's a few buildings that are pretty badly damaged.
What about Bury New Road?
Very new road. Yeah. It's mostly gone. Most of it. I think there's one building still standing.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, possibly.
Which one?
What?
Which building?
Oh, it's hard to tell. There's not much light. It's about halfway down, I think, next to where the post office was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever was next to it. I don't really remember.
KFC.
Yeah, that's it. It's KFC. It is KFC.
Fuck's sake.
In your fucking face, lol. KFC, brilliant. Oh, the bomb goes off and Colonel Sanders is like, up yours, you bastards. I'm still cooking my finger licking good. Oh, in your face, lol.
It won't be open.
I was kind of interested in just kind of working around two characters who were locked in the same room, really, and playing around with that.
We've seen one side of Lol here. It'd be interesting to see how Lol develops as a character if he kind of puts his guard down, and whether there's a point within the play where he almost, I don't know, it almost feels bad for the way that he's kind of been a bit impatient with Curtis.
I guess I must have been in a bit of a dark place to be thinking about an atomic bomb going off or something like that.
I was thinking who I was, and I was thinking I might be the regional manager for the supermarket. So I was thinking to stay alive, I'd be promising these two jobs.
There could be quite a nice moment where they kind of have some big falling out of some description, but kind of come together because they realise that they are brothers and they're in a very bad situation. But there's that kind of brotherly love kind of thing, and I just feel like, you know, we've seen that side of their relationship. It'd be nice to see them both a bit more vulnerable.
It's a lot of lines, so there's no like colouring in or anything. This particular collection of paintings, I think it's like 13 paintings, and they're just line work. It's like a continuous line drawing, I think, and they're images of just two lovers, both male, doing mundane things. In Despair, David Hockney by Emma Booth. There is a place of mundane sin. Rural coastlines submit to waves, big waves that swell and rise and push, change the polite, neat edge of folk. Relentless waves, righteous and real, tired, but pound again and again. Wear down the crumbling old front line and forge a new, accepting edge. You can swim there now, in seas of love, without the fear of being drowned. New streams and lakes appear on maps, and friendship grows along their banks. And so, we live the life we earned, make lazy love while the coffee brews. File sharp chins and morning breath are spoils of the war we fought.
David Hockney had done an etching in response to a Walt Whitman poem, and I saw the etching and it inspired me, and the lines on the etching were almost like water, and from there came this poem and a metaphor of changing landscapes to signify people's changing opinions and attitudes towards LGBTQ rights.
But I guess for the time, it was very progressive and provocative, if you want to say, because it was two men and not a heteronormative couple. They're beautiful, and I think as well the choice to do black and white instead of colours was very bold as well, because it's like kind of the antithesis of the movement, but it's very, very striking, and I think they're very impactful paintings even to this day.
On the Third Day by Stuart Beveridge. Your eyes open for the first time, still searching for their pigment, dark yet somehow enlightening, like the clearest night sky, infinite, and you were taking me in. Behind the lustre of lens, nothing, yet somehow everything that has ever been. All of the atoms that have travelled through time and space, chaotically colliding in order to form your frown. Remarkable enough on its own. Arrogantly, I count the trillions of past decisions I must have made so that your atoms came together with such precision. All of my regrets leave as tears. Each path I now know I chose correctly. And for a moment, I am God. In some small way, I still am. We all are. As we unknowingly cause collisions, blindly moulding the universe.
Literally was the third day after Tom was born that his eyes opened and you could, really connect with him. And it did put everything into perspective, and that's kind of what I wanted to try and achieve with that piece of writing as well.
When I first read it, I was trying to understand it from the point of view of a lover. It hadn't really occurred to me that it might be a baby. All the sort of different paths your life could take, dependent on different decisions that have made by you and for you, and things that affect you that other people have done. And
no matter what you've done or wherever you've been in your life at any given moment, all of those decisions you've made up until that point have been for a reason, whether that be good or bad or indifferent, I suppose. And everything we do now will have a ripple effect on in the future. So.
I had one line in my mind when I wrote it. So this is often how I do write some of my poetry or my short stories. Sometimes I'll just get one line that I'm inspired by, and I will write a whole piece of work and fit that one line in because I'm just really desperate to use that one line.
Peace in Paris by Natalie Lambert in Malingat. It was only as the clock sprinted past midnight that Josh's mood began to turn sour. They'd danced too much, drank too much. Whiskey had hit the throat, warm like medicine. Champagne had tickled the noses, conjuring up sneezes like wizards. And then, just like that, the first real argument. That bartender fancies you, Josh had said. It wasn't an observation, it was an accusation. How strange to see him like this, jealous for the first time in the year-long relationship. When there was no pacifying him, when a dress had become too short, a makeup too thick, and heels too high, she knew it was time to go. Steph exited the bar onto the cobbled street. Wind blasted into her face, whipping her hair round her eyes. How different Paris had been in the winter sunlight, fizzing with romance old and new. Now, rain fell down in jagged neon stripes against a milky wet sky. Now, she was uneasy. Now, she was alone. Suddenly she noticed footsteps, paced carefully, falling in sickening unison with hers. Now, she was being followed. A fire alarm went off inside her head. Every cell in her body screamed at her to run, but the heels, the dress, the rain, the wind, the distance, how could she run? Instead, she looked ahead, terrified to look behind. Rain and mascara dripped into her mouth. She swallowed. Lipstick and bile. She joined the bridge. The river Seine and all its secrets gushed under her feet. And all at once, she saw her body. Broken, limp, contorted, and stuffed inside the storm drain. How long would it be before they found me? She thought. How long before Josh would come looking for me? She wrapped her coat tightly around herself. Stop it, Stephanie, she thought. Just stop that right now. Should she ring him? He'd be drowning his sorrows, no doubt. He wouldn't even hear his phone. And how could she phone her mum, hundreds of miles away asleep in bed? This was supposed to be a romantic trip away. Her mother had never liked Josh. She'd never understand. As soft as the wind's whisper, warm air quietly warmed the back of Steph's neck. She halted. She couldn't move even if she wanted to. Then a voice in the darkness, friendly, familiar almost in its delivery. "Excuse-moi, madame, I think you may have dropped this?" The accent was French, strong. A panic dissolved instantly. "Oh, you silly, silly girl. It's just your imagination, yet again, Steph. Whoever this gentleman is, he was there to help." And then finally in sight was a hotel. She was safe, and she'd deal with Josh in the morning. Everything was going to be okay. She turned round. It was the noise that came first. The crunch of her nose as it broke. The creak of her knees buckling as she fell to the ground. And then silence. An absolute, total peace.
My teacher gave us a little task in class about somebody who was on a physical journey, so somebody who was walking home or walking to a destination. So that was what kind of initially inspired me to write it.
It's little comments that people probably won't think a whole lot of, and in relationships people think. So the bit that we discussed actually was when it says the first real argument. I don't think it is. I think she's excused a lot of things, but this one, she's put so much on this weekend. She's put this weekend absolutely up there on a pedestal. She's been so excited, and then he spoiled it. He's thrown her off guard a bit doing this stupid French accent. She's turned around, and I think it's him that's killed her.
Hi guys, we're going to take our 5-minute break now so we can go and give the NHS a right good round of applause, and then we'll be straight back where we hope to see you again, where we continue the rest of our showcase. See you soon.
Started out as a one-word exercise, and I got the word heavy as my first word, and I wrote just a back and forth conversation between two people.
Been waiting here for ages now. So he calls me, my insufferable boyfriend, saying, "Come wait at the door. I'm gonna need your help getting something in the house in a bit." And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Again?" I mean, this isn't the first time he's done something like this. It seems like every month he goes out there and spends my money on some hideous bullshit that I'm going to have to look at every day. I mean, I'm optimistic, but let's be honest. He's got no taste, literally, whatsoever.
I know she's going to love it. I mean, she hasn't liked anything else I bought, but maybe this will be the one. It was a bitch to get in the car, and it's probably going to be a bitch to get in the house too, but it's too late now. I know we've been having a few issues lately, but listen, when she sees this thing, it's going to go down a treat. Trust me.
Is that him now? He's getting out the car. I think I can see it. Oh, it's fucking hanging out the back of the car. What the fuck even is it?
Hello? Is she going to come help or what? It looks like she likes it though. I mean, how could she not?
That literally may be the ugliest fucking sofa I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, she's looking at it now. Maybe she's not as high on it as I would have hoped, but she'll come round once we get it in the house.
I love it. Don't know where we're going to fit it though.
I knew you would. We'll find somewhere to put it, I'm sure. Oh, she had me worried there for a moment. I thought she hated it.
If he thinks that I actually like this thing, then he's both incompetent and delusional. How heavy even is it? Are we going to be able to fit it through the door?
It'll probably fit. It'll just take some effort is all. It's not going to fit, is it?
I am literally at my wit's end with this shit.
How are we going to get this thing in the house if she ain't lifting it?
Fuck this. Good luck with getting this thing on your own.
Baby, come on. I thought you loved it. She'll come back. She's not coming back, is she?
Initially saw it as a radio play, and that's how I wrote it first, and I thought that was pretty good. I did initially think that the radio was the one that was best, but I think looking back now, it does translate better as a play.
It was good to speak to Robbie, the writer, the other day. Before the conversation, I'd had to read it. I'd read it through about 10 times, and certain sections I had to do a lot of putting my own punctuation in there and kind of wondering why there's not much punctuation, why there isn't, why these are all through thoughts. A Stream of Consciousness by Robbie Barlow. Flabby white cream, globule bits of blue in there, on there, in hand, smear on, here we go, there we go. Smoothen out, smooth spread on cheek. Oh, I hate my cheekbones. They're too jagged, too high, like sculpted from brick's edge, razor edge. Yeah, razor edge. That's shit humour. You see, you can't ever get a clean cut round cheeks. Still, it's better than my jaw. How is anyone supposed to navigate around a jaw of a Tetris-esque head? A Lego, more like. It's simply impossible. You bastard. Oh, be careful. Be more careful. Toilet roll. Tea paper. Tear it. Prip. Small squares. Little dots. Bloom into flowers when blood touches them. Like pipetted blood. Drip, 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 drop. Little rosary beads on an invisible chain. Floral pattern. Blood is art. Art is spilled blood. Life bleeds to make lifeblood. Lifeblood bleeds to make a living. Living in nature and in flowers. These Microflowers blooming from my face. I am one with nature. I have become nature. Say, Poison Ivy, come and have my babies. It's a good one. Our mouth makes that weird shape again because I got a fucked up jaw. Need that BSSO osteotomy knife scalpel clamp operation. And that'll be a major one. Drill bolts and Frankenstein's monster. And me out of work. Out of work means no money. All because my mouth's been broken to pieces, stinted with titanium splints. Robo-jaw. That's what they'll call me. And then I will be able to talk for England. I won't be able to eat proper food for a bit. My donut hole's going to cease to exist unless they start making liquid donuts. Donut hole. You know why they call it a donut hole, don't you? Shut it. It's because that's all you eat. I said, shut it, shut off, shut out, shut down, shut off all appliances. Let my mind be at peace. Sleep. Where's my jam jar? It's still charging. Shit. Just my luck, as usual, as always, never prepared. I guess I'll just have to entertain myself. Empty space. Nothingness. Blank canvas. Hello? White, bleached hospital rooms. Fresh printed paper. Fresh paper from the supermarkets. Scribbles and doodles and lines that won't seem to end. Move on to the next page and start scribbling nonsense, comic doodles, la-di-da-di-da. I've got to write. I've got to write for the new writing showcase. Need fresh perspective, subjective. What exactly? Who knows what anything is? See, that's postmodernism for you, baby. See, I could write stream of consciousness. I wonder if I'd get away with that. Well, it does fit the brief. New style, fresh forms. So long goodbye, simplicity. Razor tracks across face. Stroke up, stroke down. Bristles in sync, wash away. Clean face. Baby face. Who even wants a baby face anyway? It'll raise a lot of questions. Fuck. Oh, that really hurt. Ow. Fuck. Toilet paper. Drip. Micro blossoms. Blood. Pinprick. Beads speckled on white paper. Robbie finds the will to live. That'll be a good title. 10 words. 500. Word count. Done. Dusted. 5 words to spare. Huh?
It was about experimenting with form like the stream of consciousness, you know, like the beats inside of your head, and to get things sort of going in a very thorough way. So it's all the minor little details.
I kind of got from it the idea of, you know, like body dysmorphia and people not being comfortable in their own skin. You know, there's a lot of people who can relate to that. There's a lot of people who know what that feels like when you feel unhappy. And you know, this guy's stood in a mirror and he's shaving and he's seeing the close-up nitty-gritty bits of his face, everything, and he's not happy with it.
It's kind of like a collection of all the women in my life that have made an impact in my life, and so I've put that all into one person. I've tried to personify all them important people into one kind of person.
Well, she was all mandalas and peace signs, a free spirit dancing on the graves of our society. She was all recreational drugs and music that injected euphoria into your souls. She was a psychedelic dream. She was all a paste tongue and piercing eyes that would crash land you into exhilarating trouble. She was all smiles and swear words, but she was unapologetic about the way she loved. She was fast and fucking reckless. She was all me. Until she wasn't. I think them two lines are very strong, and obviously it then gives you a sense that it's a reminiscent poem. It's not like you're talking about someone else. It's reminiscing about what you were. Like, that's what I was as the character. A free spirit dancing on the graves of our society. That seems like very like 80s language. It feels like very much like their time. Like, that's what I imagine all the time, that they were always dancing. They were always enjoying themselves in that sense. People still probably relate to it more so the like the drugs and the music side of things than the, and to be fair, all of it, but I think it's less spoke of now than it was in the 80s.
Birds and Bonbons by Julie Woodruff. She felt $1 million as she strolled along the street, looking like a wag, designer-clad from head to feet. The suited, booted, smooth guy leering commented her bum was peachy, pert and perky, and then called her Sugar Plum. Reflecting on the catcalls, she thought she'd feel incredible. Instead, she wondered why a female's nickname's often edible. Sometimes sweet and sickly. Honey, honey bunch or hun. Confectionery items, cupcake, donut, sugar bun. It isn't always cuddly baby cake type names that people use to condescend their broads and dolls or dames. We hear them using bread type terms like muffin, tarts or crumpet to try to bring each woman to a status of a strumpet. Or possessively, a certain man will use the type of word that would question if his partner was a female or a bird. A lamb, a ducky, a budgie, or possibly chick. Endearments that are crass enough to make a woman sick. Well, she carried on her journey, held her head with pride, happy with her looks and confident inside. Her partner wasn't brave enough to call her something other than the crazy hippie name bestowed upon her by her mother. There's lots and lots in this where it resonates with me because it's happened to me before, in everyday life. More so when I was younger, less so now because I feel as I'm more confident and I'd probably say something back to someone, whereas before I didn't. I just kind of, being in places of, like when I've been at work as well, like of being like by men who are my boss, who've been speaking to me like, you say darling or honey or honey bunch, you know, like names that they shouldn't really be using in the workplace. I think it's because it's just because it's used so much, and I think people have got used to it, and people don't really think about the language that they're using.
Because there's quite a sort of bonding thing between women around weight and losing weight and diets and things like that. But women probably spend quite a lot of time talking about losing weight. Good Intentions by Julie Woodrup. When the alarm went off at some ridiculous hour, Jane dragged her weary limbs out of the warm flannelette sheets and inched away from under the duvet. It was then she felt the tightening knot of anxiety in her stomach. Today was the day. Things were going to change. She was going to become healthy. With Tricia, her motivating force and long-time partner in crime, they had spent the previous evening putting a plan in place to make them succeed. Diets, exercises, shopping lists and spreadsheets to record their weights had been printed. Recipe books and tape measures were at the ready. How organised were they, and how great were they going to be? They felt smug. They were all set. Jane crouched down to peer into the dark recess of the bathroom cupboard and tentatively patted around with her hand. The bathroom scales were still there. She felt surprised, as if expecting them to have grown legs and left home from misuse. She dusted them down. To be as light as possible, she removed her pyjamas, slippers, and toyed with the idea of taking out her earrings. She moved the scales to the middle of the floor and put a toe on the platform. 0.0. They were ready to go. That can't be right, she declared to the room, shocked at the numbers displayed. I'll have a wee and lose some fluid, she informed the disinterested bathroom. Weeing accomplished, Jane got back on the scales. Still the same. She picked the scales up and moved them in front of the window. 0.0. Aha. 1/4 pound lighter. Near the bath, the same. Reluctantly, she entered her starting weight on the spreadsheet. After a virtuous breakfast of herbal tea, porridge and berries, Jane got changed into her jogging gear. Well, she couldn't really jog. Hers was a version of a fast walk without the fast. Basically a stroll. But you had to look the part just in case you passed other like-minded athletes, or better still, fit-looking men. Leggings, trainers, jacket and hair tied in a ponytail. She fastened the clasp on her bag around her waist. Phone, bank card and keys. Check. With water bottle in hand, she set off. She'd arranged to meet Tricia at the park entrance a mile away in 15 minutes. Surely she could do that. The stroll stepped up a pace, but the stitch in her side slowed her back down. She was only at the end of her road. Half the bottle of water had already been drunk, and her fire-red face glowed, but not exactly with health. Taking the corner at a snail's pace, she spotted Tricia, gasping for breath, against the wall opposite. Their eyes met, and they grinned at each other,
as they jostled to see who could get through Greg's door first.
I've seen people when I'm out, you know, just sort of walking or whatever, and I see someone I know, and they'll say, "Oh, where are you off to?" And they say, "Oh, I'm just off to Fat Club." It's one of those topics of conversation that women, you know, possibly like, I don't know, football or something for men, like they sort of, when you don't know what else to talk to someone about, you can probably find some sort of common frame of reference in stuff to do with diets and staying trim and stuff.
This coffee is like my ex-girlfriend. Cold. It used to be warm and loving, but now it's cold. The coffee I'm talking about, not my ex. She's always been a bitch.
There's Tim. He's been a right depressing bastard ever since his missus left him for Chris. Chris works with Alice, Tim's ex. Them two were having an office romance. Tim knew something was happening because he found pencil shavings in Alice's pockets. No, that's not a metaphor. They work in stationery together. Cold?
Not as cold as Alice's heart.
A fake laugh. Cheer up, mate. It's not the end of the world.
It's worse. I just don't know why she left me for Chris.
Pause. There's a few reasons why Alice left Tim. Reason number one. Chris is the manager of a highly successful stationery company. Tim, although I do love him, is a bit dim. Reason number two. Chris is built like an Adonis, and according to Alice, has a cock on him that could end lives. And Tim, although I do love him, is below average in many other areas apart from his IQ. Reason three, and probably the most important reason of all. Everyone gets bored of everyone eventually. And Alice got bored of Tim.
I just don't know.
Don't know what?
Why she left me.
I don't know either, mate. Well, I don't want to crush him.
Do you think she'll come back?
Probably not. Yeah, mate. Definitely. John is an intellectual. His retention of knowledge is extremely impressive, but utterly useless. His social interactions are usually specific and dull. He mentions the obvious and has no understanding of the patronising nature of his being. In terms of endearment, he's a Class A cunt. John boy, you've awoken from your slumber.
The coffee is cold. And my name is Jonathan or John. I despise that name, John boy. I've told you continuously. Tim, are you still upset about your ex-girlfriend who cheated on you numerous times?
That's not very nice.
She's left me for good this time.
Was there another time where she didn't?
Don't be a cunt, John.
You know I hate that word.
Well, if you don't be one, then I can't call you one.
Fair enough. And I'm sorry, Tim.
Apology accepted. I don't know what to do.
Move on.
Oh, fuck off, John!
No, she's right, Tim. That's the only thing that you can do.
I know. It's just tough.
I got dumped before.
But pause. This news has shocked us. John had a girlfriend. A girl that was able to converse and thrive on his conversations that lacked enthusiasm and engagement. The type of conversation that would simply bore the arse off anyone that displayed the characteristics of a human being. Let the investigation continue.
You were dumped before.
Naturally.
What happened?
She said, I don't want to be with you anymore.
No, before that.
But I said, do you want to be with me?
No, I don't mean... Did anything happen to initiate her leaving you?
She got bored of me.
Naturally.
That was it. Boredom.
Everyone gets bored of everyone eventually.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
Boredom? Boredom? What happened to soulmates? The one, staying together when things get tough.
The one is a fabricated lie that is told to sell Disney. It's as real as the Tooth Fairy, Santa, the Loch Ness Monster, Yeti, and the Easter Bunny.
No, I disagree.
Thank you. Someone with a bit of sense. Alan believes in the one, don't you, Alan?
Well, no, I don't believe in that shit. See, my mate has seen the Loch Ness Monster when he went travelling to Scotland.
Fascinating.
We should stay over a night.
I'd be up for that.
We could stay up all night and try and capture an image. They sell for thousands.
Slight exaggeration.
Hundreds?
What is happening?
Tim, it would distract you from thinking about Alice.
It didn't. We ended up meeting Alice and Chris in Scotland. We managed to book a room right next to them. The activities in the evening were filled with standing at Loch Ness, freezing, not even a glimpse of the infamous monster, and listening to Alice moan Chris's name continuously for 2 hours. See, as Alice moaned and Tim cried, I started to think about my own relationship status. Single. Single for the past 5 years. And that night, I went to bed with a smile on my face.
One of the characters going through it, the other person's kind of like sympathizing with him, which everyone does at the start, and then 4 months down the line is where John comes in, where he's like unsympathetic. He's like, you have to just get over it. She's essentially like cheated on you and you just need to get on with it kind of thing. So he's like the blunt comment that a lot of people do then. They've just like been telling you, oh, it's terrible, like break up and all that kind of stuff, and you can relate to it, but then it's like 3-4 months down the line and then they're still going on about it. It's like, oh, you can't keep going on about this, like obviously it's past, that kind of way.
There's a woman that I came across who is a therapist, but she basically believes in innate wellness. So rather than looking at it from a point of view where you have to analyse everything, just something clicked with me where I thought, hang on, underneath all this crap that's going on in my head, I'm actually fine. You're that sunburn on my shoulders and you're keeping me awake. You're the voice that lives inside my head, that habit I can't shake. Well, I'll be damned if you're the reason I strip the colour from my hair. I've been down this road so many times, there's nothing for me there. You break me down, you shake my crown in any way you can, but the truth is here and it's crystal clear. The truth of who I am. I'm a shooting star. I'm a supernova. I illuminate the sky. I'm a firework, the handiwork of every reason why. I'm a thunderbolt of diamonds as I shoot across the sky. You'll never put my light out, no matter how you try. I'm 100,000 light years. I'm so many moons away. I'm the glistening, glittering ocean waves as I sweep into the bay. I'm the sprightly zing of springtime when winter wants to stay. How can you try and change me when I've always been this way? How can you try and take my laugh, leave nothing in its place? This peace of mind was mine alone. It was never yours to take. This shooting star is travelling far now, farther than the eye can see. I'm love and light, and it's only right that that's all I'll ever be. A supernova won't be done over when its life is to be free. So next time, best think once or twice about coming after me. She's probably realising how much it's affecting her. So in that first bit, it's like admitting it to yourself, you're keeping me awake. And you can get kind of circuits in your brain where if you pay a thought too much attention, it'll come back because your brain thinks it's important. So you end up with like a little triangle in your head where it's kind of spurting around all these negative thoughts. The writer is speaking directly to the depression and saying, who do you think you are, really?
What would I say to my younger self? I'd say that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and keep digging. Suppose knowing what I know now, this would be a start, but there's so much more. I'd tell her drugs weren't the issue. It was who we took them with. And I'd tell her that working so hard to fit in and pretending to be something we're not is only going to lead us down a path of self-destruction. Like, we are what we are. We're human, so we have to accept that. And I remember what it was like. I remember the rush of the older girls wanting to hang out after school or skip school altogether. It felt so cool, like you belonged. You felt invincible, and that's how they get you. Yeah, I'll make mistakes, but they're not the end of the world, and you will learn from them. But use them to grow. And stay away from straight girls. You'll only confuse them and they'll use you. And, you know, they'll act like they're head over heels for you. But at the end of the day, their sexuality always speaks louder than you. And then they leave. But you'll be fine. You learn to be alone. And eventually, you actually quite like it. You experiment with different careers. You'll hate all of them. So go to uni, yes, and study and work hard. And one day we make it. We're never rich and famous, but we will be happy one day. What else? I guess eat more often, drink more water, and more importantly, love harder. Don't fear love. You deserve it. Look after yourself physically and mentally. You've been to some dark, lonely places, and if you don't really find your way to the top, you never experience the light. And remember what it took, but you do have it in you. I know you do. Once you change your mindset and your life, things do fall into place, and eventually you have a normal and happy life one day. It's our time now. Go and get it. Grab it by the balls, make it your bitch. And my parting advice, I guess, is this. Write. Write every day. Write poetry. Write prose. Write a diary. Write your sins on your skin. Wear them for the world to see. Whatever and however you do it, you have to write. It will heal you.
It started off being about, I don't know if you're aware, but about the Rochdale scandal a few years ago. It's basically a woman that sat in therapy years later, and the therapist has asked her to write a letter to her younger self. Now that she's got over it and she's getting therapy for all her past issues. So it's kind of like a bit of advice to like herself and younger people as well.
You wouldn't really talk to anyone else. You wouldn't really sit down with a teenager and say, hey, listen, there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, because you don't know what they're going through. But for yourself, you know exactly where you've been and you can remember it, and you remember what it took. And it's so conversational for a monologue as well, which I really liked.
Stuart writes a bit of everything. He does a lot of poetry. Despite the ups and the downs and all the effort it's took to get them to where they are now, that they can look back at past memories and move on. This is Scar by Stuart Beveridge. Tenderly, I trace its path with all the care of a cartographer, viewing a newly discovered Roman road on a freshly unfolded OS map. The unforgiving, unfair terrain accurately recounts our route here. The steady climbs that revealed tantalizing horizons, and the sharp declines into barely escapable mires. Despite the lack of light, we vividly remember those depths and the effort it took to go on. Now we stand where the scar tapers to a point between the scary and the smooth, imagining the footprints we will leave. He's actually got 2 poems in the New Writer Showcase.
Scar, and that is an attempt to reflect the emotional turmoil you go through, and then the release at the end. And
I think it's a relationship, sort of the peaks and troughs of a relationship, and maybe a scar between the 2 people.
They both come from the same place, really. Both about the birth of my new son. We had a bit of an effort getting there, to put it bluntly. So it's great fodder, I suppose, in some ways, to be able to write poems about, there's a wealth of emotion. It's a permanent mark on your life, really, that all of the emotions that you go through.
Hello, Bernard.
Excuse me, love. How do you know my name?
Well, I've seen you here before, Bernard.
I haven't seen you before.
Dad, why don't you come and sit down? I'll check you in. I am so sorry.
Oh, don't worry, love. We're used to it working here.
Are you okay, Dad?
Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be?
You're not nervous about today or anything?
Nervous? What have I got to be nervous about?
Right, good. I'm just checking.
I'm not frightened of her, you know.
Who?
The doctor.
Oh, right, yeah. Of course not.
She's never rang me. I've not seen her in years.
Dad, doctors don't ring you. It's not like the olden days. You have to ring them if you've got a problem.
Yeah, it's a long time coming. I'm going to tell her, you know.
Tell her what?
I'm going to say, long time no see.
Dad, please don't say that.
Why not? It's the truth.
Yeah, we're just going for your blood results. We don't want to get off on the wrong foot.
Well, I have to go to running to them all the fucking time. They never come to see me. They even do my own diabetes injections. It's not right, you know.
Yeah, I know, but try to be nice. We don't want any trouble.
I won't be rude. Shake her hand like a gentleman.
Good. Now, come on. Let's get you in there.
Hello, Bernard. How are you?
Well, I hope you don't mind me saying, Doctor, but this is a bit of a long time no see situation, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
No, I am right, aren't I, Doctor? I haven't seen you for a very long time.
Well, Bernard, it looks like we have been writing to you for over a year now to come in for a general health check.
Well, I haven't had any such letters, Doctor.
Well, I can see that we have written to you on several occasions, Bernard, but it seems you have never responded until now.
Well, put it this way, Doctor. I don't want to know if there's anything wrong with me. I'm too old for all that now. I don't want any hospitals or any operations or anything like that.
I understand. But you are a diabetic, Bernard. We need to keep a check on that for you.
What do you mean? I do all that myself.
What do you mean, Bernard?
Well, I have to come to see you all the time. Nobody comes to see me.
We only do house calls, Bernard, if it's an emergency.
Ah, well, maybe it's an emergency to me.
I can give you some good news, Bernard. Your blood tests are back and all the results are fine. Your cholesterol is low and your liver function is within the normal limits. There is nothing alarming on there, so I'm very pleased with that.
That's good to hear, Doctor.
But you must come back next year, Bernard, for some more blood tests. It's really important we can keep an eye on you.
Dad, it's not a problem. I'll bring you again. Just let me know when you get the letters.
Well, it's been good to see you, Bernard. Look after yourself. And remember, if you ever feel unwell, you must call the surgery.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It's been my pleasure.
It's based on just real life situations, really, and observing the elderly and how funny and also excruciatingly embarrassing they can be.
This is Bars by Gemma Bennell. In here, we're all the same. Hard-faced, disgraced, we don't feel pain. You read us in the papers, disdain on your face. Society's scumbag don't deserve a place. We're animalistic, deranged and caged, vicious, barbaric, savage, insane. You say we're sadistic, filled with rage, narcissistic, bad, afraid, cruel and heartless, women with no names, stacked in cells, contemplating fate. It's destiny. Look, in God's hands, they say. Maybe that's true. Because he was the same. Hard-faced, disgraced, didn't feel pain. When his size 10 boot met my age 10 face, this cell, it's the same. Secret hiding place.
It was important for me to try and demonstrate that quite often we have a perspective of something or somebody's situation that we don't really know anything about. We don't know people's circumstances, that kind of thing. So it really came from there, really.
When I first read it, I thought like it was a powerful piece. I didn't think that it was for either gender. That's why I suggested that I'd like to read it to record for it, because I just felt that the piece itself, like the language, was so powerful that it could have been for anyone. Like the feeling behind it and the imagery that this person's been abused, and that's why they're here. This is why they're in prison, because of the stuff that's happened to them previously. They don't think they're a bad person. They just know that that's what people have said about them. Like, and that can relate to anyone. I don't think it's gender specific.
My name is Sabine B, and I'm going to be reading One Man's Journey from Anne Denise Greenall. Worn armchairs, a semicircle lining the walls. Wizened man, knees covered in worn, stained shawl. Stop that, it's disgusting. The girl's barely 18. Voice clipped, condescending. He cares not that she's seen. Once more he spits on the floor in stubborn defiance. Power imbalance based on his reliance. Dependence born on limbs, gnarled, frail and twisted. Mutual indifference and disrespect festered. Later, he told me he'd joined up for the war at 15, not knowing what he'd signed up for. called up for his country to fight and to shoot. In those days, no one checked the real age of recruits. Mother in tears, no matter, it was done. Sent to the front line, her only son. Rations and trench foot, grim realization. He watched his best friend die, defending their nation. Bitter, futile regret. The young men were powerless. Deserters shot. PTSD deemed as cowardice. War over. Penniless back in his hometown. Unemployment. War medals sold for half a crown. Depression and despair. Flashbacks of violence. Raw memories, shielded by a seal of silence. Blunted emotions. Unuttered words consigned. Stagnating. Repressed to a tortured mind. Installed in his new home, this tired, proud man continues to fight back the only way he can. Those who stop to talk warned not to gossip. You're not here to chat. We need to make profit. Outlay and assets and time and motion. Back-breaking work. Little chance of promotion. No time for small talk. Carers bark their orders. Not trained in caring. Fledgling prison warders. Complacent and chiding. Just a job to be done. They don't see the brave, weary warrior son. Worn armchairs. A semicircle lining the walls. Old soldier knows this is his last port of call.
You've probably seen in the residential homes, the chairs are all lined against the walls and everybody's just sat in one of the chairs, and that's the way it was, and it was a long time ago then. You know,
Yeah.
so it's just that the pace of work, like I said, it is like a bit like a conveyor belt in a way, because you've got so many people to get dressed in the morning, before coffee time, and then coffee time, then you've got your bathing, and I mean, some people didn't have a good attitude, put it that way, but you know that even now they don't.
Yeah.
You know, so some people wouldn't have a good attitude, but others would. It's mixed, it depends on the person.
Him having to kind of deal with normal life afterwards, and he wouldn't really talk about it either. Like, everything we found out about my granddad was pretty much after he died. This sort of guilt of like, this was someone who never shared their pain and what they went through, because they cared more about saving their family from this pain that they were going through.
I should mention this. Far From Home is co-written by my husband as well. We used to do a lot of fringe theatre in Manchester a long time ago. So we've kind of approached it where I'm writing certain characters, he's writing certain characters, and just seeing where the narratives go. So it's kind of more experimental.
Far From Home by Michelle Hughes and Terry Hughes. A bedsit, London, 1950s. Pat and Eamon, two Irish migrants, are getting ready for a night out in London.
And stick by me and Tommy.
Righto.
Don't go wandering off on your own.
Hey, can we not have the gramophone on? I do like to listen to a bit of music when I get myself all dolled up.
Did you not hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Right then.
Something to get me in the mood.
Oh, don't be getting carried away now. We're just going for a few pints in the castle. Tonight is not a big night.
Some Hank Williams would be nice, or some Dean Martin or something like that.
Just to show you around, that's all.
And what if I meet someone?
What's that?
If I meet someone, a girl or something.
Forget about girls tonight.
Forget about girls. Are you mad?
Well, there'll be plenty of time for skirt when you're settled in, when you've your bearings.
And what if I want to dance?
No, you can cut out the dancing as well.
Oh, no dancing.
Oh, no dancing tonight.
Bloody Nora.
Bloody Nora is right.
Some way to spend my first pay pocket this is turning out to be. Might as well not go at all.
Well, if you like.
All these bloody rules. Don't do this, don't do that.
Well, you could be worse than getting early night walk with us up at the crack of dawn in the morning and everything.
All these restraints you're putting on me. What do you mean, up at the crack of dawn? Tomorrow is Sunday.
What of it?
It's the day of rest.
No rest for the likes of us. We've got a job on.
But isn't the site closed on a Sunday?
Oh, this is off-site.
Off-site?
Private job I'm after landing. A little bit of subbing.
But I need me rest. Look at me hands. See the calluses on them. They need time to recover.
Oh, that's part of the course when you first start labouring. Oh, you have to work your hands in. No, you'll soon get used to it.
Work me hands in? No, I don't understand why I can't wear me them canvas gloves.
Nobody wears canvas gloves.
I've seen plenty wearing them.
Aye, the brickies, you're just a labourer. Oh, they need them. They work with mortar.
I bloody need them. There's a whole pile of them in the foreman's shed. I saw them only yesterday.
Didn't I say those were off limits to greenhorns like you?
Makes no sense at all.
Don't go cutting corners right from the start if you want to be known as a good man.
A good man?
A grafter. A feller that shows up on time and keeps his nose to the grindstone. That, my friend, is a good man. Look, some of these ganger men are right bastards. They're looking for any excuse to finish a feller or get shot of him. Well, that's why they go walking up and down the trenches all the time. They want to find out if a bloke is pulling his weight, and if he's not, well, if he's not able to keep up, then out he goes. No argument.
Have you got any hair tonic at all?
Hair tonic?
Yeah, I need to do me quit.
How can you not use water?
Sure, water's no good. Look, surely you must have some hair tonic or something lying about the place.
And there's a bit of old lard in the pan over there, and if you want to use that, I've no objections.
Lard?
No, it's as good as the same thing, isn't it?
I'm not walking about with my hair smelling of last week's sausages.
I'll take it or leave it.
It's okay for you. You've got no hair. But mine needs for Christ knows what. What's keeping Tommy anyway?
He's had to go see a feller about a van.
A van?
Aye. Oh, we need to have our own wheels if we're to be taken seriously as subbies. How do you expect us to get all the tools from one place to the next on new jobs?
How many bloody jobs have you two got?
As many as you can manage if you're to make anything of yourself in this game. Oh yeah, you have to give them the impression that you're a grafter, that you're hungry, that you're willing to work, that you're eager to land it, and then you get the reputation, you see. You let it be known that you're not afraid of hard graft and people who give you the subcontracts. Too many blokes over here just do what they have to do and that's enough. Able to buy themselves a few pints at night or maybe a fancy suit or a little flutter on the horses and that old nonsense.
Well, that sounds great to me. I do love the horses.
Oh, they're just treading the waters, those geezers. They're not going anywhere or doing anything. They're not bettering themselves, moving up in any way.
Yeah, well, I don't see anything wrong with, using your hard-earned dough to enjoy life. Treat yourself to a new suit or a new pair of shoes or a little flutter on the horses. You could be dead tomorrow.
I've seen blokes 5, 6 years across the water with no more in their pockets today than when they got off the boat in Holyhead, many less so.
I'm not killing myself down a hole 10, 12 hours a day, with a swinging a bloody pickaxe, and then depriving myself of a few creature comforts afterwards. Life is for the living. There's plenty of time to be going all sensible later on.
Well, it's later on. I'm planning on taking it easy.
You hope?
There's no hope about it. A man needs a plan. I'm going to put the hours in now, graft, work like a horse when I've the strength, when my body can take it and it doesn't take everything out of my body. Well, then in 5 or so years, when I'm still relatively young, I can put my feet up and enjoy my money.
Yeah, well, there's certainly plenty of great ways to spend your money around here.
Here? Are you mad? Sure, there's no life for us here. Look, it's a grand place to earn dough, don't get me wrong, and God knows there's enough work here to keep half of Ireland in labour, but what with all the rebuilding that's been going on since the war ended, but the Irish will never be altogether accepted here. They'll never be seen as anything other than second-class citizens, and that's a fact. Well, they look at us like we're savages. You remember the signs in the windows, right? No blacks, no dogs, and no Irish.
Yeah, I pay no mind to that. I'm staying. I am bloody sick of Ireland.
Oh, you say that now. Look, give it a couple of years and you'll be pining away for the old country. You mark my words.
Not bloody likely. I'm here and I'm staying here.
You'll be sending home money, of course.
Of course, I'll be sending bloody money home. That goes without saying.
Because you know how much they depend on it.
I'm well aware of my obligations there.
I'm glad to hear it.
From what my experiences of Irish people, whether they're second generation in England or whether they're first, is they've got extremely strong values.
I liked Pat, the value and everything that he did was about work now, you know, island now, your family now, do this and rest later on.
And I think that comes across right at the end of the piece, even though Eamon wants to go out, wants to go and enjoy London.
I think Eamon's the complete opposite. He's doing it, but he's not doing it for the same reason. Like, he's loving this, being young, being in London, being out of Ireland. The world has just got bigger. And I think it was that beautiful contrast between the two guys.
They really take you to the place. You can see it. You can feel the whole energy of the place when you read it. All in a Day's Work by John Bruin. It had been a long, hard winter, and the giant chimneys of Pendleton and Kersley Mills, together with the myriad smaller factory and work smokestacks, had thus far kept the sun at bay. At last, Eric was feeling warmth on his back as he trudged along the familiar towpath towards the Ringley flight. Walking beside him, Sarah had only this morning swapped her heavy knit woolen jerkin and black headdress for the lighter white apron and bonnet she would wear throughout the spring and summer. Yesterday, the Rosemary had discharged her cargo before making the tedious 6-lock descent at Prestoley. Now, the loud chuff-chuff of the steam crane unloading at Mount Sion and the roar of coal going down the chute into the yard seemed like a distant memory. Apart from the clip-clop of Eric's hooves and the quiet chuckle of water under the Rosemary's bow, only the sounds of nature and domestic animals broke the silence. Occasionally, the flutter and splash or loudly quacked conversation of ducks briefly disturbed Eric's reverie, but he was unmoved by the dancing clouds of midges that so annoyed Sarah now the finer weather had come. Along with the bluebells and celandine with which she had decorated her headband, she now added wild garlic to deter them. Stopping for a moment to savour a clump of fresh blades, Eric knew that if he stayed too long, the Rosemary would glide onwards, wetting the tow rope and making it harder to pull. Already the whiffletree was banging uncomfortably against his hindquarters, urging him to pick up the pace again. Passing under Bridge 12, Eric was relieved to feel cool water on his back as the plopping of water drips into the canal echoed from the curved brick. It would not be long now before he reached Ringley and the promise of a crisp carrot or apple from the kindly lockkeeper's wife.
Most recently, I've been walking the track, the towpath of the now disused Manchester, Bury and Bolton Canal. It occurred to me that there's been a lot written about the canal's construction, but there's been very little written about the people who worked it, almost nothing about the animals who worked it.
I think it's one of those like opening passages. You can almost imagine like this character, how he develops, and it's interesting that he's a horse as well, because it's a viewpoint that you wouldn't expect to have, so you can kind of see the world through this horse's eyes and like understand how he feels. The move from cold to warm as well is very like metaphorical in it. It's like moving away from industry back to nature.
This is my first placement as a director.
I've really enjoyed it, and it's something I would love to do this all the time.
It's been an absolute privilege and a delight working with everybody involved.
It's been the highlight of the whole course for me, this placement.
It's made me realise that I absolutely love directing, but that doesn't mean that I can't be a writer either.
It's a really good platform, isn't it, that the writers are going to see their work being published.
It has set people up with the knowledge to go forward into a career in the industry, because it's shown us all the side that we've never experienced before.
My skill set was becoming more refined throughout the process. It didn't just make me aware of how much I was improving, but also made me aware of how much I'm still yet to improve.
Got that little bit more knowledge of it now, a bit more understanding of what it actually fully entails. So I think this definitely has made me realise that I want to produce more stuff. I want to be going out there, put myself out there. I think it's definitely given me the confidence to do that, and the skill set that I need to do that and to push myself. And yeah.
The day of these rehearsals, where sometimes I would have 12 to 13 hours, they went by just like a few hours. I enjoyed every single second of it. I found that every rehearsal, I was working with different actors a lot of the time on different pieces. And the more you delved into it and the more immersed you became in that experience, the more time just flew by. It didn't feel like work at all. It felt like we was creating something very special. And it's something which I feel privileged to have been a part of. I think I was very, very lucky for the experiences I've had over this placement.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm here representing the Bolton Review. Just a few quick words from us. First of all, we'd like to say thank you to everybody who's submitted. And congratulations, of course, to everybody who's been selected. I know some people will be disappointed that they've not got in, but please don't be discouraged. There's always next year. Also, a thank you to some very special people who, without them, this wouldn't have been possible. Our sub-editors, Faith, Sian, Steph and Romina, Simon, our executive editor, Claire, the New Writing Showcase liaison, and of course Stuart and Gemma, my fellow editors. I know it's been tough circumstances for everybody this year, but we're really, really proud of the finished product, and we hope you guys are going to love it too. I know a lot of people are very curious about the launch. Currently it's still unconfirmed, but we are keeping you updated. Please check out our WordPress, theboltonreview.wordpress.com, for more information, and we'll try and stay in touch.